Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to the second edition of Thrive Haryana, the tech startup ecosystem meet. Let us start this interesting discussion that all of us have gathered here for fireside chat on key elements of establishing a big brand. I would like to welcome our moderator for the session, Mr. Vivek Bhargava, Head, Dan Performance Group. A digital marketing veteran with a 2-decade experience, Mr. Bhargava is a head of the Dan Performance Group. Prior to this, Vivek was a CEO at iProspect India, a part of the Dan Group. Now, welcoming our speaker for the session, Mr. Rahul Narvekar, founder, Startup Studio India, and founder CEO, the Indian Network. Welcome, both of you, sir. I would like to give a little bit of intro into the Mr. Rahul Narvekar's profile. Mr. Narvekar has had an interesting life journey so far, starting with his first venture in 1994 in advertising space, and having worked for various retail real estate companies, including DLF. Rahul co-founded www.fashionandyou.com in 2009. In 2013, he set up IndianRoots.com with NDTV, which became a multi-million dollar company in just 2 years. And then he founded the Indian Network, a platform for people from across the startup ecosystem to connect with high focus on tier 2, 3, 4, 5 cities. I welcome both of you. Now I request Mr. Bhargava to kindly take this discussion forward. Thank you.
Okay, so Rahul, I'd like to start off this discussion with a simple thing. What actually is a brand only here? Because I think a lot of times I feel that nobody knows what a brand is. What are your thoughts? What is a brand?
So I would say anything which makes a promise of something is a brand. So for instance, I have a bottle of water here. It says Bailey's. Okay. So when the moment I see this Bailey, in a sense, I have a certain expectation that this is hygienic, it's clean water. Okay. That is the promise that this brand makes to me. But when I look at, say, Perrier, Perrier in my mind is posh French soda. Okay. So if I'm ordering a bottle of Perrier, I think most of the brands that I know, I don't know the utility of it. It's the promise of it which is what talks to me, right? So
Hmm.
brand in my definition would be a promise made to whoever is going to be a customer.
So, how does an entrepreneur know that his company has a brand? Has he been able to build a brand or is on the process of building a brand? Because the biggest challenge is, right?
Ah.
Like I come from advertising where we have this joke that all advertising that cannot be measured, हम बोलते हैं उससे brand building हो रही है.
Yes. Because उसमें आप फंसते नहीं हो.
So,
उसमें आप फंसते नहीं.
so how
So
do
I tell
we?
you, but as a startup, I'll tell you, like when we were doing fashion in you, okay. First, and if I've seen most startups in the initial phase, it's only about selling, right? So either you're trying to acquire a huge bunch of customers or you're trying to get revenue. And especially in today's day and age, when you want to raise money, you need to show that hyper growth or the hockey stick curve or whatever. Us time pe, whatever I've seen is two things. One is you're not so much focused per se on the brand, but as in terms of numbers. But of late, what is very interesting to see is for most startup founders, this whole narrative wala funda has grown big. Okay. If your narrative is big enough, your actual numbers don't matter.
Hmm.
And that's where I see this mad rush to build a brand. So from an Oyo to my favorite Cred. Okay. So I mean, I was interestingly in Bangalore and I was chatting with somebody and Kunal ka fundraise का news आया था 800 million. And we all laughed and said, यार अभी तक किसी को business model समझ में नहीं आया Cred का. In fact, they are also joking that if you know that, you can join us. Right? But Kunal has built such a big brand about himself being this massive thinker, strategic guy. यार कुणाल बोल रहा है मुझे एक्चुअल समझ नहीं आ रहा बट ठीक है यार पैसे ले ले इन्वेस्टर यही बोल रहा है दैट वाज द जोक अराउंड द टेबल and then
There are.
Cred has built this incredible positioning for itself where you can say high trust whatever. I think they have created FOMO.
Hmm.
Okay, so all of us would say हाँ यार मेरा 800 से ज्यादा स्कोर है मतलब मैं क्रेडिट का मतलब मेरा 800 से ज्यादा स्कोर है वरना मेरा सिविल खराब है and nobody wants to say कि मेरा सिविल खराब है right.
Hmm.
But it's what almost more than a year now to Cred, and honestly, I've met very smart people. Nobody's figured out. Okay, there are theories of this is what the journey is of Cred or whatever. But Kunal has been able to build a brand so heavy that it's a 800 million valuation where people have put money on the table, right?
No, but I think,
And
as you said, right, I think that sometimes what happens is there are businesses that are chasing, valuation and they're chasing funding. And then the thing is, there are some businesses that have funding or chasing business model. So, so that is, but I think,
what you said now, आज की date में, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. A lot of startup founders believe if I build a brand, big enough brand, and I raise enough capital, then model बाद में figure out कर लेंगे पैसे बैंक में पड़े हुए हैं.
but
And the best example is Omio, right? That they came in saying something, they kept pivoting, changing, whatever. Today, while the whole industry sort of band बच गई है, Omio is in that comfortable situation saying मेरे पास $1 billion बैंक में है. अब मैं figure out करता हूँ मैं टाउन हाउस करूंगा या उसको scrap कर दूंगा. Do I go back to budget? Do I go and acquire properties in Las Vegas? I don't know.
yeah, I think so. If I were to take two things, right? I think somebody had once, I read somewhere that a brand has to have very two clear purposes, right? One clear purpose is either the brand should allow you to charge more, or the brand should allow you to sell more. If it meets either or both of these purposes, then you have a brand, right? 100 रुपए का पानी है, तुम्हारा भी पानी 100 रुपए का है, तुम्हारा ब्रांड नहीं है. तुम उसका 500 रुपए ले लोगे, पेरियर whatever एक्सेस, तुम ब्रांड है. या तो कोई जना 100 बेचता है, तुम 1000 बेचते हो, तो तुम्हारा ब्रांड है. मतलब बेसिकली द थिंग इज very clearly, right? Because the other problem is now that Rahul, that it's become almost like what is a brand is a sum of all your experiences of that product or service over a period of time. And now because of social media and things like TripAdvisor, it's also some of experiences of your friends and family and some of the experiences of even strangers. So all put together becomes whatever you would call it as a brand, right? And the challenge entrepreneurs are facing is that who do you build a brand with? I think that's another question that I had for you is that because 20% of the customers give you 200% of the profits. So at the end of the day, in the earlier days, you had to stand for, let's say, safety as Volvo, but then you had to communicate it to people who would be worried about it. But now, let's say to a certain extent, a Ferrari also is safe, right? And if I'm planning to buy a Ferrari, my wife may stop me from buying so, but I have to convince her it's a safe car and she may search for Ferrari safety. And automatically she has to be communicated that Ferrari is a safe car, right? 0 to 100 in 2.7 seconds will not work with her, right? So the thing is, first thing is, who do you build a brand with? And in this day and age where the needs that I have from a brand is unique to me as a single person, then what happens is you cannot go and say, I'm Volvo, मैं सबको safety बेचूंगा. So how do you sort of walk this path? What is your thoughts on it?
So I would say for a lot of founders, the challenge is the courage to say, I am not going to be this. This is not my audience. This is who I am. But that's also because when you're starting out, most of us, we start off with something and then you get tempted saying, अच्छा ये भी कर लेता हूँ. This also अगर ये आ रहा है customer तो इसको भी ले लूँ. Okay. Especially in the premium luxury, like for a Ferrari, I'm sure there must have been a lot of times they would have been tempted to launch a low cost variant of a Ferrari to have more market share. They have had the courage to say, no, this is what we are and this is what we'll stick to. Okay. For a lot of founders, the challenge is when you're looking at building a brand, because in startups, you sort of, the word is pivot, but you sort of find your way, right? I have not seen many startups saying, this is who I am, this is who I'm going to stay. As you go into the journey, you sort of evolve. But then as a brand, you need to be consistent with one messaging. Okay. So like we learned that in Fashion and You. We started what as a limited, managed, protected marketplace for luxury brands at a discount. And of course, luxury and discount doesn't go together. So we have to be very clear with our positioning. But as we started raising funding and money from the Sequoias of the world and MVPs of the world, they wanted more growth. And of course, luxury is limited, right? And especially luxury with the old season stock. So we started putting it a lot of stuff which was not actually luxury. And that is what where we got screwed as Fashion and You. Because what had happened, we had established a very strong positioning as a Fashion and You बेच रहा है तो मतलब ये brand luxury है generally. And when that trust started getting broken once, twice, thrice, the whole mothership got screwed, right? And that's what I see a lot of brands struggling with. That you say, this is who I am, this is my promise. And then with my actions, so I keep saying this, but with my actions, that promise keeps getting broken or confused. And that's where a lot of brands sort of go away, especially the new age brands. So
But you know,
coming back to the
Rahul,
thing,
see, sorry, but you know, it's sometimes Rahul, what happens is that they say, right, it takes 1,000 days for a business model to actually get firmed up. So a startup
yes.
doesn't know for the first 1,000 days what the business is going to be. So that point of time, what should a startup do? Because I mean,
But I'll
just
tell you honestly, Vivek, in today's time, that thing is getting challenged because when we started building out Fashion in You, we raised our first round of funding 10 months after we went live. But we were of course working for a lot of months before we went live, right? But today's day and age, I see founders who have thought of an idea and they're already thinking of their first fundraise and second fundraise and third fundraise. Okay. So today the most common joke is the day you get your first fundraise, you are already starting to pitch for the next round.
Hmm,
So most of these guys don't have the luxury of 1,000 days. उतना तो कोई सोच ही नहीं रहा है. Now thanks to COVID, वो timeline और shrink हो गया.
hmm,
So very rare companies are saying, okay, I'm going to have the luxury of 1,000 days के बाद, we'll arrive at this. And unfortunately, most investors want very fixed answers to certain questions, right?
hmm.
Can you बताओ, अभी बताओ. And if as a, honestly as a founder, if I'm pitching to as an investor, I say, Vivek, I know the direction, but मोटा, but I'm not very sure right now.
Hmm.
तो sure नहीं तो मैं तेरे को check क्यों काटूं?
So but
But if,
what if let's
and
say,
this is, हाँ,
so I've actually, yeah, I've gone through that process very recently, right? So I know. So what I've done is I said, like, this is my big, hairy, audacious goal. This is what I want to achieve. But
हाँ,
there are multiple ways to skin the cat. But these are the 3, 4 pilots I've identified. These are bullets.
हाँ,
Now I'm calibrating them. I'm putting in $100,000 for each of these bullets. I don't know which bullet is going to hit the target. जब वो calibrate होके hit करेगा, तब उसमें मैं cannonball डालूंगा. And I'm going to throw 2, 3 cannonballs, right? But the thing is, I'm still constantly thinking because as long as my big, hairy, audacious goal over a 10-year period is yeah, now, how I'm going to reach there, I don't know what will make they reach there sooner and faster, whatever XYZ, right? So I'm finding these bullets. So, because see, I think now the challenge is, right, that sometimes what happens is because you raise capital, because you say, this is what I'm going to do, and then when you're 25% down the journey, you realize that this is not what it's like. I'll give you an example, right? Kunal and Snapdeal, right? They built a coupons or a Groupon kind of a business, went to China, realized how to work, came back, resold the idea of what Snapdeal has become today to the investors, pivot the entire model, right? So I think it's very important that we know. सब कभी होता है ना वो कि when you reach halfway through the mountain, then you realize that there is a mountain which is 20 times bigger next to you, right? But नीचे से both the mountains look alike. So then at
yes.
that point in time, a lot of entrepreneurs say, नहीं ठीक है, I'm just going to keep climbing, even though I'm missing out the biggest opportunity of my life. So the sometimes you have to then be fair and come down and start climbing the next mountain, right? So because
हाँ.
that's how you're going to create tremendous amount of wealth for your shareholder also. So how should entrepreneurs handle this, where they're pressurized to do something because they committed to it before they got down and got their hands dirty, and they realize that what, this is what I was supposed to be for these kind of people, but I don't think this has as big a potential. But if I can be this for this kind of people, then I can make it 100x. So what should be the thing the entrepreneur should do?
So I would say, see, for people like us, we have done many things. We are serial entrepreneurs, so we have been there, done that. So we have some sense of what has worked, what has not. But a lot of these young entrepreneurs, and especially in the D2C space, which is very hot right now, be doing it for the first time in their life, right? For them, this is the biggest challenge. That do I listen to? And today everybody's getting bombarded with stuff, right? So, and then you look at your competition, say, yaar, ye kar raha hai, so should I now adapt accordingly? I think the key here is the quality of your mentors. So if you have the right mentors who can give you, and you also implement that, okay? Because ज्ञान लेने जाओगे तो you can't benchmark. Most of these guys are trying to do stuff for the first time, and they are in a category which is for the first time, right? And unfortunately or fortunately, we are in a space because thanks to COVID and digital expanding so fast, it's so fast, dynamic and changing ecosystem that okay, dollar shave club ही होगा तो आदमी बोला चलो ठीक है, I'll also launch this. And I'm seeing a lot of people pivot so fast that I don't think they themselves are very sure they what are they into. But the people who are standing out are the people who have surrounded themselves with the right advisors, mentors, team, and have sort of helped. So if I meet the Udan team or I meet all these new guys, Khatabook and Dukan, all these guys, they have sort of rock solid in the midst of so much chaos.
Hmm.
But this is what we are, but also the courage to say no. ये हम नहीं, although it's very tempting, हम ये नहीं करेंगे short term में. This is the journey we are on. Like you said, now we are going to fire this bullet, but they're very sure these are the 10 bullets we are going to fire. Most people I see are have no clue कि मुझे 10 बुलेट फायर करने हैं, 2 करने हैं, 100 करने हैं, मेरे पास बुलेट उतने हैं भी कि नहीं, they have no clue. They're just winging it.
So the other thought I had was that who should you build a brand with? So let me give you an example, right? If you're trying to build a luxury product, now there are only 70,000 people in India who pay tax over crore rupees and above. There are only 5,000 Centurion card holders in the country, the Amex Black Card. If you take people who have taken a 5 crore rupee plus loan, then only 67,000 people in India, right? So basically what happens is, a lot of times we go in this rat race for building a brand. Everybody should know me. But actually, the people who should know us is only 100,000, 200,000, million, 2 million, right? So as long as those 2 million people know us, actually for our business model, that's good enough. So how do we find out that who should we build this brand with? Because this is one place where I feel a lot of entrepreneurs struggle. They think building a brand is everybody knowing us.
So again, I'll go back to my experience at Fashion Envy. Okay. We also had this data, but we also suddenly discovered that there is this whole underlying uh, amount of people who have the wealth, but who are not captured by any uh, statistics. Okay, the cash economy, as you say. And my experience in luxury has been you can start at the very top and then sort of slice your. You have Armani Colleziani, but you can have Armani, but you can't do it the other way around. So big bazaar कितना भी खर्चा कर ले, कितना भी fancy बन जाए, it will never, you can never, nobody is going to buy Armani in big bazaar. So for luxury, first and foremost, your messaging has to be very clear. In luxury, what I've seen is, as long as you are slightly mysterious, limited edition, and it's a story, people will pay a premium for it. If you talk utility, nobody will pay a premium for utility. Okay. So most people who buy a Louis Vuitton handbag have no clue what the fabric of that bag is, right? Nor do they care. They are buying it for the statement carrying that bag makes. So the psychology of a luxury brand is much more important than the physical product of it. That's one. Secondly, the fuss around the brand, the way you get treated, okay, is what creates that whole brand as you say. So if you walk into an Emporium mall, okay, and if I see a brand I've never heard of, my immediate assumption is this has to be a luxury because it's an Emporium. So for all of this, for luxury, the neighborhood matters. Who are you next to? What is you have to create a sort of an entry barrier, which is what Kunal did very brilliantly with Cred. That you need a civil, it is only by invitation, but you have to have a civil score of 800 to qualify. Now suddenly you make it brag worthy and flauntable that I'm on Cred. And that's the key for luxury in India. That if it is brag worthy, if it creates FOMO, if it is flauntable, then it's luxury. And when we did Indian Roots, we were selling a lot of Sabyasachi and all these big designers. And I got this brilliant insight. So we used to sell Sabyasachi to Indians outside India, right? And Sabyasachi had this signature Pili Koti Lehenga, which was 3,80,000 rupees price. And of course, it's all made, right? It's a designer wear. So very early when we started the Indian Roots, and of course we used to monitor every call, we got a call from this lady from the US saying, I want to buy this, but I don't want it in red, I want it in green. And this looks like a 5'10" model, 5 feet 10 inch model. I'm 5'4". So can it be? So the customer care executive came to me, said, this is the query. And I started laughing. I said, what nonsense, a designer piece, so jo color ho bolegi ban jayega, jo size banega ban jayega. But we had very specific instructions from Sabya's team that anything, any deviation, you have to take approval from us. So my customer care executive called up his team. And the lady there said, yes, of course we can do it, but it is 84,000 rupees extra. The moment I heard it, I said, give me the phone. I said, boss, एक बात बताओ, पहली बात तो each piece is handcrafted, it is individual, ठीक है? तो इसमें मतलब extra क्या? Then I said, logically, 5'10" का 5'4" है, तो कम material लगेगा, तो पैसे कम लगने चाहिए, ज्यादा क्यों? She said, Rahul, this has nothing to do with the product, it's branding. And I was very skeptical. But the moment the customer care told the lady, no, ma'am, yes, we can do it. It can be done for you, but it'll cost you 80. She said, I'm not transferring the money right away. He's going to do it for me, right? And I just suddenly got this insight that, that's how you build a brand, Sabyasachi, right? That it's all the small things that you do. And then once I had taken my entire team to meet Sabya in Bombay in his store, and he started chatting with my team. There's this young girl in my team who started talking, and Sabya showed them a dress, which was in black and white. It was a lovely piece. And how do you like it? So this girl, Tusharika, she said, oh, Sabya, this is so good. So Sabya looked at her and said, you know what you're thinking? Yeah. You're thinking a red mein hota tha. She said, हाँ. She said, no, why did they make it in black and white? So he said at one point, Sabyasachi, the brand became so big, and there is old money and new money, right? So he said old money was coming, but a lot of new money was coming to buy. And because so much new money was coming, the old money was going away. So he created two brands, Sabyasachi by Sabyasachi, which is stuff which looks very nice, but which is not, the new money would never wear, because if they're paying that kind of money, they want some Jatak, some stuff in it. But the old money would want very simple stuff, elegant stuff, right? So he said, I created old money. I don't make money there, but that brings in the new money. And that's where I make my money. So people who have invested so much thought process are the ones who are doing great in the luxury premium space, who understand that it's not about the product. It is about the story. It's about the small things. It's about packaging. You look at an Apple. My son is a complete Apple geek, right? Look at the amount of margin they have. But that is because of Steve Jobs would spend weeks obsessing over that one font and the sound the dabba makes when you pop it open, right? So when brands spend that much time thinking over stuff, they are able to command that kind of a premium.
I just bought a phone for my daughter. I have a Samsung Galaxy Fold 2, right? Which is like probably the best phone in the market. Dual screen, two batteries, yeah.
I bought
But
it
thing is,
because of you. I'm on a fold only.
but iPhone costed me more, right? So
Yes.
just stupidity, right? It's like if you take the Pro, it's more expensive. But boy, what you said is the brand, right?
Again, it's not about the
Today,
product.
not about the product. And I think all Apple's advertising also is exactly the same, right? When you see, it's almost you can't even figure out on the box what are the features of the product, right? It's just like the
Absolutely.
photograph, and like sometimes they just say, okay, we have Bursty and we'll put
I'll give you another
512
insight.
GB. We'll put
Vivek, I'll
512
give you
GB
another
out there
insight.
just to have, because we want to
Yeah,
tell you थोड़ा तो difference होना चाहिए तुम क्या ले रहे हो?
So last year, Vivek, I was in Bombay and I carry one iPhone because iOS maybe app होना चाहिए, right? And I'm not an Apple person. I'm a Samsung person. I'm doing this on a Fold 2. So I was in Bombay and I needed to pick up a phone. And I walked into the Apple store and I called my son Rian. And he had an iPhone 10 at that point. So I said, Rian, I need to buy an iPhone new one. So I'll buy the latest one, give it to you, and I'll take your purana wala phone. He got very excited. हाँ पापा आप ये ले लो वो ले लो. He made all this. And then he said, okay, मेरे हाथ में कब आएगा? I said, I'm traveling in about 10 days time. I'll give it to you. He said, नहीं चाहिए. I said, 10 दिन पुराना हो जाएगा इसलिए. He said, no, Papa, you are taking away the complete joy of me unboxing that phone. And I was like, are you nuts? मैं वापस same type से डब्बे में डाल दूंगा यार, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? He said, no, but you have unboxed. I said, you want to spend 1.5 lakh rupees for you to open that dabba? And he didn't want the phone just because he couldn't unbox it himself. Now imagine Apple had that insight that I can charge that kind of a premium to get a teenager to unbox it himself.
That's
That's
crazy.
branding. That's
But
branding.
but the funny part is that, you also have done OMP. I had gone to Harvard to meet one of my friends. He says, क्या कर रहा है? You want to attend a lecture? मैंने कहा, हाँ, ठीक है. So I've sat for 3 hours in a lecture and they did this lecture on rent the runway. And the insight was that how do you rent out expensive designer dress to the target audience? So all the designers were not ready to come on board. The sales pitch was that you design something for a mid-20s, early 30s woman, and the person who actually affords it is 45, 50 years old. So the only way you can get a 25-year-old to try out your dress and become familiar with your brand is by trying it, by renting it. But we want to give them the same unboxing experience. So if they spend, let's say, $250 is on the dress, they spend $50 extra on packaging and make sure that you are getting the same experience. It's being laundered. It has all that wrapping paper, it has this box, it has this bag. So when you're opening it, it feels like it's a brand new dress, right? And that,
Yes,
as you said, is very, very critical. So when on that note, right, let's shift to B2B. If you want to build a brand in the B2B sector and you're selling software, SaaS platform, etc., again, the same problem arises, right? That the number of customers who can actually license your product are in millions, but the consumers are in billions. So how do you build a brand with those million people who matter, right? Or 50,000 HR professionals that matter, or 1 million admins that matter? Because now what happens is very, very critical for you that they need to license your product or software. And how do you build that thing that you are able to target and build a brand? Because, and what should a startup do, right? If I'm selling a SaaS software that is meant for HR of enterprises, how do I build a brand that at least the HR managers know about it?
So I think the same principles apply here also. You might not do it on a mass level. So if you look at any of the B2B tech space, okay. In fact, I was again sitting with somebody a few days back, and he was saying, for a certain kind of a contract, TCS was 7 times much more expensive than another tech company, which was absolutely doing the same thing. But this guy, the HR head of this large corporate, he said ultimately we gave it to TCS because of the brand value.
Yeah, they say now that nobody gets fired for hiring in IBM. Used to be one dialogue, right? Because
Yes, yes.
you won't get fired. You say like, okay, IBM screwed up, but I hired IBM, right? So now what do I do? I couldn't have hired anybody better in those days.
Yes, yes. Because see, the promise of the brand. So I'll tell you, when we did Indian Roots, I was told that because we are part of NDTV, it's a listed thing, we have to get one of the big four to do a report for us. So that SEBI we can give it to the markets and say, this is the report on the basis of which we are doing the startup. And the cost of that report was 50% of the entire capital I was putting into the startup. I said, why are we doing this? I can get anybody to do it for a couple of lakhs. He said, no, we need a big four because otherwise, how do we tell people it's all kosher? Now, the big four, whether it's Deloitte or KPMG or PwC or EY, and you have seen instances where they have also goofed up big time, right?
Yeah.
But despite that, they have built the brand so high that if I say KPMG has done my report, it gives me a certain positioning. So in this space, if you're able to, and a lot of people in the B2B space don't do branding thinking इसमें जरूरत नहीं है. I should be the lowest cost. But companies who have taken a contrarian view there and said, I need to build a brand here. Okay. And that is the delivery experience also. So a lot of times you get the person who's coming to represent your brand is dressed in a way which does not resonate with the brand. And I think IBM was the first one to standardize stuff, right? You needed to be dressed in a certain way and the suits and all of that. There's a reason for that. And a lot of startups in this space don't do it. But I would say do it because then you can command the premium.
Actually, I think one of the things that I've seen is that a lot of people underestimate the value of brand for hiring talent. Because I think the biggest competitive differentiation you can have with competition is that, you have better talent. And I remember, when I sold my company to Dentsu in 2012, so somebody had asked me that what are the biggest benefit you get? Do you get a lot of clients and you get like global reach, etc. I say, you know what? Honestly, the biggest benefit that I got becoming a part of a larger $60 billion group was I was able to attract much, much better talent at a much cheaper prices. Right. So I'll give you an example, right? Rubina Singh joined us as CEO. I prospected those days. I spoke to Rubina earlier. I'd been pursuing her to join us for 3-4 years, but she would not join a communicate too, right? But she was okay considering a Dentsu. So the fact of the matter is that made all the difference. We grew almost 12 to 15 times during that period of 4 to 5 years of the earnout. That 15x growth actually didn't come where Dentsu gave us clients. That came because Dentsu gave us access to better team members, and that team members created that growth. So many times when I'm even giving a sales pitch to entrepreneurs that we acquire in Dentsu, I tell them, listen, forget the business. The business will come. But more importantly is when your team member who wants to join you, he has to go and tell his father that I'm joining this Japanese company, which is $60 billion. Then the father feels कि अच्छा, this is a good company, salary थोड़ी कम भी मिल रही है, join them, safe रहेगा, everything will be good, etc. Right? And that is a very important criteria for success in India, your ability to attract great talent. So I
I'll
think
give you a great story on this, how Kunal Shah built his brand when he was doing free charge.
Hmm.
Okay. So when he was building FreeChat, it was a small startup and he wanted to hire talent from the best B schools.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, which B school guy would want to join a startup which he had never heard of? But what Kunal did very smartly, along with the appointment letter of the one person who agreed to join, you send them a MacBook, brand new, सीधा. And people said, are you nuts? अगर वो भाग गया नहीं आया तो क्या करेंगे? वापस नहीं दिया तो? He said, कितने लोग ऐसा करेंगे? A, you're going to students from B schools, which are the best B schools, right? But you know what happened suddenly? You have got a placement. Suddenly you're still in campus and you open this brand new MacBook and people say, Sale MacBook? He said, I'm joining this company and they've sent me a MacBook with the appointment letter. And suddenly people said, what? Who is this guy? Which is this company? And FreeCharge became this underground, guerrilla brand in all B schools saying, what a great company. A, he's trusting me so much that he sent me a MacBook. And when I join, I'm getting a brand new MacBook, which I'm flaunting. Now, it's a hack, right? You imagine it's not too costly. How many MacBooks would Kunal have sent? 5, 10, 15, but he built such a great brand out of that one gesture. And there are lots of small hacks like this, which startups or even smaller companies can do to build their branding, which they ignore in a certain way because we think very logically.
No, absolutely, yeah. So, on a final note, what are your thoughts as a startup? I have this TG that I want to build a brand with. I have options of building it through content creation, through being on different aspects of platforms and social media. There is some advertising to be done. If I have to allocate capital and sharing your experience with Fashion and You, how should a startup invest those monies? And constantly, what metrics can he use that those monies that he's investing is being used efficiently and is leading in the right direction, and the triggers are telling him that brand improve ho raha hai. How do you keep track? Am I achieving what I'm trying to achieve, right? Because these measurement terms become very, very difficult in this brand process, right? Is it like number of searches that people used to search for my brand, have they increased? Am I able to charge a premium? Means how do you make sure that you are in the right track when you start building this?
So I would say the first thing most startups miss out in is they don't allocate enough time at their strategy level for branding. And I've seen more than enough startups where the founders have different definitions of their own brand because they've not thought it through.
Hmm.
And the first thing I tell is you cannot outsource your branding strategy to somebody else.
Hmm.
It has to be the core of what you're doing. Whatever is your product offering, whatever is your technology, everything else has to move around that. So when you're getting together to think of an idea, first agree on one definition of your brand. It can evolve over a period of time. But at least the key stakeholders have to be on the same page of what is the brand. That's one. Two is, in the initial phase, you are the brand. So Fashion and You was Earl, Rahul, Harish, till it became Fashion and You, right? And I see so many startups today who do not use opportunities wisely to promote their brand. For simple instance, if I have iProspect as my company and it is not a well-known company, how much does it cost me to put iProspect on a t-shirt and wear it at every conference or every Zoom call?
Yeah.
It's standardization, right? And if I am talking luxury, okay, at least I should look a little bit like that, right? I can't be looking Big Bazaar and talking Emporio. That's at the core. But then second is first put enough thought process and enough capital. Do not look for the cheapest agency when it comes to branding. Because I keep saying, people coming to sir, koi recommend kar do agency, but itna budget nahi. And I say, you can't say I have so much budget and now I have to find the agency. I have to find the best agency and then figure out the resources to get that agency on board.
Yeah.
Because it will pay for itself.
Actually, that's
one mistake I've seen.
Yeah. No, actually, what you're saying is so right that, so many times what happens is a lot of people I talk to, they come from this scarcity mindset of the past, right? Where, physical object, I have 100 units, I give you 10 units, now I have 90 left and you have 10, right? But when you take the current, it's an abundant skill set, right? So in that abundance mindset, what happens is that I'm an agency, I charge you 10. Now the thing is, if I deliver you more value than what you could have got on 100 on media with 90 and I got 120 clicks instead of 100, then you got 20 and I got 10. So that whole thing is a lot of people have not got used to this abundance mindset and they look at everything as skill set, that the mindset of scarcity, and because of that they make a lot of wrong decisions, right? Same way, if you are paying the agency lesser amount of money, they're going to put in lesser number of man hours or hire lesser talent, right? And that is going to affect your media inefficiency so much that by reducing 2 rupees from the agency fees, you are losing 20 rupees on media. And a lot of companies continue to do that, unfortunately, and they don't realize it that we are living in a abundance world rather than scarcity world.
Also, people in India don't want to pay for good advice.
Yeah.
They want advice for free. So for branding, they think, अच्छा विवेक से किसी तरह connection बन जाए. I meet Vivek over a cup of coffee, and so if Vivek tomorrow says, I can give you great branding advice, guys, but I'm going to charge you 5 lakh rupees for 1 hour. Most people say 5 lakh रुपया मतलब सिर्फ ये बोलने के तो यार,
But Rahul, I did this, right? So somebody had approached me and I've been training him for the last 2 months, last 3 months actually now. So I charge 1 lakh rupees an hour. But what I say is that, listen, don't pay me that 1 lakh rupees.
Okay.
I'll identify 2 children who are financially affected because of COVID, who play table tennis. That's my passion. So you have donated. So 4 kids I've already donated the monies. 2 kids I'm donating this month. My coaching session with him is got done. So he's paid 3 lakh rupees, but he's paid to 6 people 50,000 rupees each. So in a way, he's not paying me anything, but it's costing him 1 lakh rupees an hour. So the fact of the matter is,
they need to have that mindset saying, yes, if Vivek gives me a 10-minute advice, but that 10-minute advice, he spent a lifetime reaching that level, right?
Exactly.
But most people are happy to spend on the medium. So they're happy to spend on Google AdWords, but not on getting the creative right to spend on Google AdWords.
There's one story. Yeah, there's one interesting story. One woman walks up to Picasso in a restaurant. He said, can you draw something on a napkin for me? So he draws something and he says, there'll be $25,000. He says, what? It took you a minute. So he says, no, it took me 25 years.
Yes.
So it's like,
And especially now in today's, I keep telling this to startups I mentor. I said, understand it's such a fragmented, cluttered world. There's so much media today that invest in the right messaging and let it go viral. Then you don't need to spend on Facebook and Google and all these gatekeepers, right? But still, people are in India, to get advice, people want it for free either, or अरे यार आप तो दोस्त को बता दो यार ऐसे.
Yeah. On that note, should we invite Nishta back? And I think we probably have crossed our time chatting. We can talk for 2 more hours if you want to.
Yeah, but that should be our old mom.
Thank you, sir. Yes, the time was up. I was about to send you the reminder of the same. On that note, sir, I would like to conclude the session by first of all thanking both of you for being with us here today. I'm sure our attendees would have benefited so much from the conversation. Thank you to our partners and to all the attendees for supporting the event. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Chalo. Bye, Rahul. Bye, Shah. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.